What you're seeing on your screen right now isn't computer graphics, nor is it a shot from the movie Avatar. This is a one-of-a-kind houseplant that can glow on its own thanks to its unique DNA. But there's a catch. While you can freely keep it in your living room in the US, this plant is officially banned in Europe, and selling it is punishable by law. Why is that? Watch this video to the end and I'll reveal all the secrets of this extraordinary plant. Meet the Firefly Petunia. By day, it looks completely ordinary. At first glance, just an unremarkable houseplant with delicate white blossoms. But the moment the sun dips below the horizon and you switch off the lights, something like real biological magic begins. From deep inside the plant, its cells and tissues, a soft, mesmerizing greenish glow begins to spill out. It doesn't need batteries, hidden wires, special chemical additives, or UV lamps. It's powered by the flower's own life processes, its metabolism, cellular respiration. In this story, we'll break down how genetic engineering managed to turn science fiction into a stylish interior accent, why Time magazine named it one of the best inventions of 2024, and most importantly, what unexpected difficulties and strict restrictions owners of this living nightlight run into in real life. The world of ornamental plants has always been full of disappointment and marketing tricks, especially when it comes to unusual colors and special effects. If you've ever walked through a big garden center, you've probably seen so-called glowing cacti or neon-colored succulents. In reality, it often turns into a sad spectacle. Either the plants are coated with a thick layer of fluorescent paint that clogs their pores and slowly kills them, or they're just varieties that reflect ultraviolet light. Firefly Petunia is radically different from anything we've seen before. This isn't an external decoration, it's a precise genetic modification. The uniqueness of this petunia is that it's a fully autonomous bioluminescent system. It's one of the first times a genetically modified organism of this level of complexity has been cleared for commercial sale as a consumer houseplant. Unlike earlier attempts to create glowing plants, ones that required special chemicals or glowed so faintly you could only see them through a camera with a long exposure, the Firefly Petunia glows steadily and is clearly visible to the naked eye. That makes it more than just another smart gadget. It's a new milestone in the domestication of nature. We're used to technology being metal, silicon, and plastic, but here the technology is DNA itself. Behind that magical aura is an extraordinarily complex biochemical architecture that scientists assembled brick by brick over decades. The secret of the Firefly Petunia's glow lies in the DNA of a tropical mushroom, Neonothopanus nambi, which naturally glows in the jungle. Researchers discovered that bioluminescence in these mushrooms runs on a cycle that fits surprisingly smoothly into the metabolism of ordinary plants. The key link turned out to be caffeic acid. Despite the name, it has nothing to do with coffee as a drink. It's found in nearly every plant and helps build cell walls. Scientists inserted into the petunia a set of fungal genes that function like a tiny biofactory. First, they convert ordinary caffeic acid into a molecule called luciferin, which can emit light. Then a special enzyme, luciferase, oxidizes that molecule, and at that moment, energy is released in the form of photons of green light. But the most elegant part is what happens next. After the glow, the spent molecule isn't expelled from the organism. With the help of another enzyme, it's converted back into caffeic acid. The result is a near closed-loop engine. The plant continuously recycles its own metabolites into light, then restores the resource for the next cycle. That's why the petunia can glow 24 hours a day, though we can only truly see it in darkness. When you bring a Firefly Petunia into your home, it's important to understand this isn't just decor. It's a high-tech biological mechanism that demands a specific approach. As a houseplant, it has its own requirements, and the biggest one is light. That may sound paradoxical for a plant prized for glowing in the dark, but the brightness of its nighttime performance directly depends on how much energy it absorbed during the day. For an optimal glow, the petunia needs 6 to 12 hours of bright light. If you live in an apartment with north-facing windows or in a region with short daylight hours, you'll almost certainly need a strong grow light. Otherwise, the bioluminescence will fade quickly, becoming dim and barely noticeable. Owners often make the mistake of thinking that because the plant glows on its own, it can live in a dark corner of the bedroom. In reality, the more active the photosynthesis, the more catheic acid is produced, and the brighter your flower burns at night. The brightest parts of the plant are fresh buds and young shoots. That's because growth points have the most intense metabolism, and that's where the light factory runs at maximum speed. Real-life ownership also comes with a hard lesson in managing expectations. In many promotional photos and videos, the petunia looks like a bright lamp lighting up the whole room. In reality, the light it emits is much gentler. The developers compare it to soft moonlight. For the human eye, that becomes a real challenge in the age of light pollution. To truly enjoy the spectacle, you need complete, absolute darkness in the room. Even a tiny indicator light on a TV, a phone charger, or a street lamp outside the window can overpower the bioluminescence. What's more, your eyes need 5 to 10 minutes to adapt to the dark before you start to see the subtle details in the glowing petals. From a gardening standpoint, the Firefly Petunia is a heavy feeder. It needs regular watering and regular feeding. If the soil dries out or lacks micronutrients, especially iron, the glow is often the first thing to weaken, becoming a kind of health indicator for the plant. Experienced owners recommend regular pruning or deadheading, removing spent blossoms. That pushes the plant to redirect energy into new buds, which almost always glow brighter than older ones. And so, care turns into an ongoing dialogue. You give it attention, and it answers by lighting your room with its ghostly shimmer. Buying a Firefly Petunia is a whole separate chapter, full of legal and geographic nuances. Right now, the plant is officially available only in the United States, where it's shipped by mail directly to your door in special protective boxes. The price has been promoted at around $29, especially at launch, which is quite comparable to the cost of a rare variety of a regular houseplant. But for residents of Europe, the UK, and many other countries, the situation looks very different. Due to strict regulations around genetically modified organisms, this petunia is not authorized for sale in many places, and importing it across borders can violate local rules. Regulators in the EU worry about the impact of GMOs on local ecosystems, while scientists at LightBio argue that this petunia is an ornamental variety that can't survive in the wild without human care and poses no meaningful threat to biodiversity. Still, for many Western gardeners outside the U.S., the Firefly Petunia remains a forbidden fruit, something you can only watch through a screen. But the hottest debate around this plant isn't even about ecology. It's about patents and intellectual property. When you buy a Firefly Petunia, you're the end user, but the underlying technology remains protected. LightBio forbids unauthorized propagation of the plant. You're not allowed to take cuttings, try to collect seeds for sale, or even share cuttings with friends. From a legal standpoint, this flower is protected by patents as an invention. That raises a lot of ethical questions. How right is it to patent a living organism? And what happens if 10 years from now, plants like this become normal? Will gardening turn into an industry of paid subscriptions and licensing agreements? In professional circles, people already joke that one day we'll see Terminator genes that shut off the glow if the owner doesn't pay a monthly fee. For now, it's just irony, but the precedent set by this petunia forces us to think about a future where the line between nature and commercial product could be blurred beyond recognition. Despite all the restrictions and controversy, Firefly Petunia is only the beginning of a much larger journey. We're standing at the threshold of an era where biology becomes a new kind of design. The developers are already hinting at new varieties with different glow colors, and even at the possibility of glowing trees that could one day replace streetlights, turning our cities into something like fairy tale forests. This plant challenges the way we imagine what a home should feel like and how we interact with space. It invites us to slow down, switch off the gadgets, sink into silence and darkness, and simply watch how life breathes and glows. This isn't just buying a potted flower, it's bringing a piece of the future into your home today. Firefly Petunia reminds us that science can be not only precise and clinical, but also unbelievably beautiful, poetic, and even a little mysterious. And if you're ready to accept the rules of this game, bright light by day and absolute darkness at night, this living firefly may become the strangest, most unforgettable companion in your home, opening a door into a world where nature and technology finally learn to speak the same language. The future is already here. It grows in a small plastic pot and glows softly green while you sleep. Are you ready to let it into your life and become part of this great biological experiment? Each Firefly Petunia owner finds their own answer alone with that astonishing living light in the deep silence of the night.